Lubavitch, the world's largest Hasidic social service and educational group, is one of the most vital and dynamic forces in Judaism today. The Hasidic movement originated in Eastern Europe in 1734 with teachings of the founder of Hasidism, the Baal Shem Tov, the master of the good name. Joy, exuberance, and scholarship are the essence of Hasidic life. The fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Sholem Dov Ber Schneerson, when asked what a Hasid is, responded, a lamplighter, one who, regardless of any and all self-sacrifices, lights a spark in the soul of a Jew to make him more aware of his heritage. The Chabad Lubavitch Hasidim have been the designated lamplighters for millions of Jews since the humble beginnings of this religious organization, when the first Rebbe, Rabbi Shnei Or Zalman, assumed leadership in a small Russian town over 200 years ago. Currently, in keeping with his philosophy of reaching out to the masses, the descendants and followers of this movement are publicly lighting menorahs in parks, shopping centers, municipal buildings, and government capitals in nearly every state in the Union and most countries throughout the world. The leadership of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, has brought Chabad Lubavitch into the Jet Age, while still maintaining the values of thousands of years of Jewish tradition.
I've just returned from a meeting with the Rebbe. It was a deeply personal and moving experience. I have long been committed to Chabad's programs, but the inspiration which I have received from the Rebbe, the will to do more and the will to do better, will carry me forward through the rest of my days.
There's no question in my mind that the men and women of Chabad are God's angels on this earth. The selfless work that they do for the needy night and day with such love and devotion is truly the work of angels.
There is an organization known as Chabad under the inspired leadership of the Rebbe that is committed to bringing about a world that is peaceful and a world that does support people in being more human.
You can say the Rebbe is a genius, and he is definitely a genius, the greatest genius in every field.
He is what keeps everything going. He's what keeps Lubavitch all over the world going. He's what keeps the world going.
The closer you get to him, I think the further you get from him, because you perceive that there's a depth beyond what you may think you're getting accustomed to.
He is, first of all, a person who cares about every human being, whether it's a greatest world leader or a child. When the Rebbe is dealing with a problem related to this person, this problem is most important than anything in the world.
It was the Rebbe's sainted father-in-law, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, who first brought the Lubavitch movement to America in 1929. Just 2 years earlier, he had been sentenced to death by the Bolsheviks for his efforts in spreading Yiddishkeit, but was miraculously liberated following the intervention of President Herbert Hoover. After igniting a spark of Jewish awareness in America, the Rebbe returned to Europe to continue his efforts on behalf of his people. He brought the message of hope and survival to the poor Jews in the shtetls of Russia and Poland, who needed him to guide them through poverty, pogroms, and the apathy of unfriendly governments. Realizing that time was short, he worked incessantly to bring light to the ominous shadow of the dark clouds which seemed to be approaching much sooner than anyone had anticipated. His tireless efforts and refusal to back off from the constant threats against his life took its toll, and ill health soon confined him to a wheelchair. But even in the throes of what was to become the extermination of 6 million Jews, the Rebbe continued his tireless work on behalf of European Jewry. Soon, the voice and goose-steps of a maniacal house painter and his brown-shirted followers threatened the life and very existence of every Jew in Europe. The Rebbe's followers, feeling the onslaught of Nazism, pleaded with the Rebbe to escape to America. At the very last moment, before all of Europe went up in flames, the Rebbe sailed once again to America and to freedom. Although physically handicapped, the effects of his heroic fight against Stalin's oppression, "He can imprison my body," he said of Stalin, "but he cannot imprison my soul." The Rebbe's spirits unbowed, he announced to his followers that he was not here to seek asylum, but rather to prove that America was no different than pre-war Europe as a haven for Torah and for Yiddishkeit. Through Agudas Chasidei Chabad, the international Chabad Lubavitch organization, the Rebbe founded the first day schools, centers, and publication societies and printing outlets to bring Yiddishkeit to the heart of the cities and the grassroots of rural America. In 1950, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson assumed leadership of the Chabad Lubavitch movement. Born in Nikolaev, Russia in 1902, the Rebbe, a world-renowned scholar who had worked closely with the previous Rebbe, inherited the torch from his father-in-law and catapulted Chabad Lubavitch into the jet age. Chabad, a three-word acronym, Chochmah, Bina, Da'as, wisdom, understanding, knowledge, became synonymous with the thrust of Jewish culture worldwide as the Lamplighters steadily grew in number and helped to spread this growth of Jewish awareness called Yiddishkeit. The Rebbe has established many programs which have a positive effect on millions of people throughout the world. One of those programs is the mitzvah, the good deed of giving to those in need. The Rebbe personally passes out dollar bills and blessings to thousands. The recipients take this money and with additional money of their own, give freely to hundreds of various charities. Charity is just the first step in a long and happy road to fulfillment. Each year, the Rebbe's birthday is celebrated by an assembly line of approximately 40 mitzvah tanks, which roll to all points in Manhattan, hoping to give some person a chance to reinforce or perhaps recapture the beauty and pageantry of Judaism. Chabad Lubavitch men and women accompany the tanks to answer any questions which might be asked by curious passers-by. On this particular day, a minyan, quorum of 10 men was gathered so this young man could fulfill the obligation of reciting the Kaddish, the mourner's prayer for his mother who had just passed away. The light of the torch spreads its warmth to the elderly, as throughout the country their rabbis regularly visit retirement homes and convalescent hospitals to talk and kibbutz and conduct prayers. The Talmud states that charity knows neither race nor creed, and Chabad's heart goes out to all in need, be they Jew or in this case, non-Jew.
And really, for the first time in my life, they looked at me like a person and not like just somebody out here, you know, another tramp off the streets.
They've given us some money so that we could eat. And there's no other places down here that have done that for us.
If you need help, this is the place that 9 times out of 10 will be able to help you when nobody else can.
Centers are opening up for young Jews who are unable to cope with stressful situations and need the warmth and understanding of Jewish love as well as a place to stay. Chabad gives them counseling as well as some delectable kosher food to get them on their feet again. This Hasidic organization has thrown itself into the battle of suppressing the increasing tide of drugs which is crippling our youngsters. Under the careful planning and scrutiny of the Chabad mental health staff, headed by clinical psychologist Dr. Stephen Bailey, the non-sectarian Chabad National Residential Center in California has one of the most impressive complete rehabilitation rates in the country, well above the national average.
I'm going to be here for another 10 months at least. I don't want to go back to the old Glen. I want to try to be something better. I'm 33 years old now, you know. There's not many more chances that I'm going to have. And this may be my last one.
I know for me, I wanted to die. And if I didn't come here, I probably would have died.
Often clients of the program will see celebrities who stop by to speak to them and to give encouragement to those fighting for readjustment and a new life.
10 years after Chabad opened its doors to addicted men, I was able to help them open their doors to addicted women. And the sign posted outside was hammered in by a man who is an ex-addict and whose life was saved by the people of Chabad.
Chabad got me in. I didn't have to wait the 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. I know I wouldn't have made it if I had to hit the streets.
Everything is numb after so many years of doing drugs, or a drug, whatever it is. You just hit that wall so many times, and it just caves in on you, and you lose everything. You lose your family, you lose everything. Probably gonna be the toughest thing I've ever gone through in my life. But I'm gonna make it, because I'm not going back out there unless I make it in here.
30 years ago, a superintendent of the New York school system asked the Rebbe his advice to stop the increase of drug abuse in the streets. The Rebbe's suggestion: teach the youngsters when they are young to say no to the temptation of evil.
Hey, look, a pack of cigarettes. Let's smoke them. No. No, thanks. No, thanks. Oh, come on. Just one little try. No? No. Not even once? No. I'll give you $10. No way. 20?
Freeze. What's going on?
I'm immensely impressed with the fact that Chabad, a Hasidic Jewish organization, can reach out, see the importance and the real relevance of this kind of a program, and reach out on a non-sectarian basis to schools, to places outside of their immediate neighborhood, and say, yes, we believe this is important. And I guess what's exciting for me in terms of being involved in this program is to see an organization like Chabad, because they know that this is going to make tomorrow better for this generation of children and the days that follow.
Okay, I'll start with...
Religious missionaries sought out the Jewish hearing impaired in order to convert them. Chabad Lubavitch started teaching their staff sign language to countermand the missionaries' efforts.
Okay.
The classes are being taught by one of Chabad's drug program graduates who turned to drugs when unable to cope with his hearing loss. This young man was a beneficiary of one of those classes. He was the first hearing-impaired bar mitzvah at Chabad. He won't be the last. 770 Eastern Parkway, in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn, New York, is the world headquarters for Chabad Lubavitch and its saintly leader, who was the catalyst, the innovator, the architect, the strength and drive of every one of this giving organization's programs throughout the world. The respect of the Chabad dynasty for scholarly leadership, which has brought an awakening to the age-old ideals and concepts to a new generation of Jews, is in evidence many times during the year when the Rebbe visits the cemetery and pays homage to his venerated father-in-law. From time immemorial, it has been the Jewish custom to visit the resting place of a Cidic, a revered and righteous person, and pray for a blessing of good health, of sustenance, or perhaps a blessing for the welfare of humanity. Every Farbrengen is a learning experience, as the Rebbe sheds light on ancient passages as well as contemporary issues, as he delivers commentaries ranging from the Bible and ancient Talmudic writings to current international events.
Und in der Dalle, die Jungen, Scheben, jemand...
Okay, under that on the screen.
The Rebbe, who speaks over 10 languages and is a graduate engineer of the Sorbonne in France, delivers his discourses in Yiddish. They are simultaneously broadcast throughout the world. The communications room at 770 is equipped with sophisticated broadcast facilities such as one would see at major network studios. The technicians are highly skilled Lubavitch Hasidim who have been trained by professional studio personnel and are now proficient enough to hold a position at any radio or TV station. Ironically, these Hasidim don't own TV sets, and not one of these young men would give up the privilege of being part of the team which is responsible for sending the Rebbe's commentaries worldwide.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to Melbourne, Australia. You're now going to see one of the largest and strongest institutions in the world. Melbourne might be down under, but there is a strong, pulsating Jewish community in Australia, and particularly in Melbourne. And Chabad Lubavitch is one of the strongest we have.
For the kasha in the Gemara. The case you bring it in, it's also kasha. I don't understand what. I want to understand the other. I understand what. I understand.
So we're bringing a proof to something which is not so obvious, to something which is more obvious.
Who knows the song, We Want Mashiach? All right, let's all sing. Yeah, we want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait.
From Australia, where the hope of the Messiah coming to the Jewish people is universal, we go to Morocco, where Chabad honors the renowned 12th century scholar Rabbi Moses ben Maimon, known to the world as Maimonides. The Rebbe has instituted the daily study and reading of 3 chapters of Maimonides' Code of Laws, written over 800 years ago. Once a year, the Chabad director in Morocco, Rabbi Label Raskin, leads a pilgrimage to the house of Maimonides with the blessing and assistance of the Moroccan government. There, the last chapters, which are as much alive today as they were when they were first written, are read and completed. Here we see the airport at Hong Kong, where Chabad and its director, Rabbi Mordechai Avtzin, is on hand to meet, greet, and welcome their sisters and brothers who, after years of petitions and requests, have been allowed to emigrate from Russia.
Jews in Russia.
In Israel, which for millennia has been the beacon of light for the world, there are over 150 Chabad centers. This is Kfar Chabad, the first Chabad settlement established in Israel by the previous Rebbe in 1948, when he implored that Hasidim return to the land. The Rebbe and his followers have dedicated themselves 100% to the survival of this tiny democratic country in the Mideast, and they have toiled the land by the sweat of their brow as their forefathers did in ancient days. Aside from the usual schools of Torah learning for Chabad children, the Rebbe has declared that vocational schools for the poor be established. Thousands of Israelis who now lead productive lives started out at Kfar Chabad vocational schools. The girls you are seeing will soon become court stenographers or lawyers typing out their briefs, or perhaps even novelists shedding the light of Yiddishkeit to eager readers. And if typing is not their forte, perhaps a life in fashion design. Taken out of the poverty-stricken areas where, as in other countries, the future success of children is bleak at best, these children become a light unto their communities. They secure jobs and promote the lifestyle of observance and good deeds as a way of daily conduct. There is a Yiddish proverb: if you drop gold in books, first pick up the books, and then the gold. Gold has its price. Learning is priceless. These presses print thousands of pages a day, and its contents are sent throughout the world. The building which houses these presses is called Yad HaChamisha, the Hand of the Five, named in memory of 5 Chabad students who were slain by a surprise PLO attack as they studied their lessons and whose blood spilled over the pages of their prayer book. This soldier was wounded as he defended his land from a terrorist attack. A Chabadnik helps him put on a pair of tefillin, which symbolically binds one's heart and mind to Judaism. Chabad's young men also serve in the Israeli armed forces, and on holidays they provide the spiritual support that boosts the morale of the soldiers on the front line.
I believe, I believe, till the end of time, Lord of Abraham, I believe, I'm in your hand, I'm in your hand, till the end of time, Lord of Abraham, I believe. You, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, since the world began, you made me what I am, since the world began, you made me understand. I exist, tell the world that I am well. I believe, I will live to tell the tale. I exist, through the fire, through the hell. I believe, I'm the son of Israel. You, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you. I exist, tell the world that I am well. I believe, I will live to tell the tale. I exist, through the fire, through the hell. I believe, I'm the son of Israel. You, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you, Lord, and only you.
Crown Heights, the worldwide headquarters for the Chabad movement. On Kingston Avenue, the main thoroughfare, there are stores to buy toys and gifts and skullcaps for the ever-increasing growth of children within this Chabad Lubavitch community.
Life has changed for everybody. The whole world has changed, actually. In the shtetl, everything was small. Everything was, the whole family lived together with the grandparents. I mean, we're doing this again, we're living together. But everything was small, and the note was on survival. You had to survive. You had to live through your life. You had to worry about day-to-day survival. Today, so that's, I think, how my parents brought us up. They had to survive. They were running from Nazi Germany. We had to survive, simple as all that. Now something else has taken the place of the upbringing of the children. We, thank God, Baruch Hashem, we've survived. Now our foe, our enemy, is assimilation.
We were once in a taxi with a not Jewish taxi driver, and he was talking about his 3-year-old son, because we were with our son, and he was saying how his son copies everything that he sees on television. So he was in the middle, right now was his phase of Superman or something. He was in the middle of being Superman all the time. And he used to copy everything that he used to see on television. He used to save people that were falling out of buildings and something. And Zalman used to copy the Rebbe. There were so many things that I never even noticed that the Rebbe did. The Rebbe is so important to him. Everything he does, he copies him and he learns from him every little thing. Even he waves to little children like the Rebbe does. It's beautiful. And that's from living here for sure.
No. Yeah. Melech? No, you make a bracha. Melech? No. Kap. Oilam? Vayrei? Minei? Mizenes.
Amen.
Children are the spark plugs of tomorrow, and the Rebbe's love for his children is evident in his innovation of programs such as Tzivos Hashem, God's Army of Children. At this gathering, which is held specifically for children, they come to the microphone with great pride and call out one of the 12 Torah passages selected by the Rebbe to teach them the basic fundamentals and faith of Jewish belief. The Chabad credo is, teach the child when he is young, so he will grow with it and love it. The word of God is close to you, Chabad says. It is on your lips, in your heart, and is there for you to accomplish. The dedicated Chabad educational staff instills in their students an awareness of Sabbath and the never-ending process of learning one's lessons, so that God's commandments and the love of life and peace are finally realized. The light of life through education is kept burning by virtue of innovative classes keeping the young and restless alert and attentive. The concept of charity is emphasized as soon as the child is born. The Rebbe's emphasis on the future has brought Chabad Lubavitch into the illuminating age of computers. It is also the age of Chabad Lubavitch, for this organization, whose roots are set in antiquity, is dedicated to the harvesting of tomorrow. And with a great tradition to look back upon and a bright future to look ahead to, Chabad Lubavitch continues to use the elements of today's innovations so that they can relive the redemption of yesterday. In the North, Chabad's far-reaching desire to light the lamp in all areas of America is being realized by the prestigious Beis Chana Institute for Women in Minnesota. The institute, directed by Rabbi Moshe Feller, is designed for girls as well as career women, searching for an intellectual encounter with Judaism.
To the best people, the students fell asleep.
In the South, at a Lag BaOmer picnic, Rabbi Yosef Groner in North Carolina takes this opportunity to relate the story of the great sage Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai as those around the campfire sing Hinei Matov, how pleasant it is to be with friends.
Is that we should love our fellow just as ourselves.
In the East, Tikva Way, the light continues to be lit. Tikva means hope, and what had been the hope of Rabbi Moshe Herson, Dean of the Chabad Lubavitch Rabbinical College, has been the fulfillment of a dream. Nestled on over 60 acres in the rolling hills of Morristown, New Jersey, this institute of higher learning with over 300 students has the largest rabbinical campus in the world.
As far as my background is concerned, I'm probably fairly typical of the average student here. I was brought up non-observant whatsoever. Minimal sort of Jewish education, a Sunday school sort of education, typical bar mitzvah. I memorized my little song, and that was it for my Judaism, my Jewish education, right? I went on to college, and in my case, I went on to law school as well. And I did actually some graduate work in law, and I ended up at Yale, actually, in a PhD program in international law. When I was there, having reached what university people call the zenith of secular education, I realized that there was a lot wanting. And then instead of going to Wall Street, I guess I came here from Yale. And let me tell you, it's a lot more difficult here. A page of Gemara, a page of Talmud is inordinately more difficult than anything I ever did.
Out west in California, with all the emphasis on studying, one would think there is no time or inclination for physical exercise. Not so. After all, what's more American than a Chabad youngster scoring a basket or running a touchdown? Except perhaps the right of religious freedom, as Chabad brings the message of Hanukkah to millions of Americans.
This land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps through the sparkling sands of your diamond deserts. But all around me, a voice came sounding, saying this land belongs to you and me. Sing it up now. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. The sun was shining, and I was strolling through the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling. A voice came sounding as the fog was lifting, saying this land belongs to you and me. Let's go. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
This land was made for you and me.
The spark of Chabad sheds its brilliance on Sukkot, the holiday of harvest when Jews use the palm and the citron, the lulav and esrog, commemorating the gathering of the first fruits of the harvest. To commemorate this holiday, the Rebbe prays with the traditional palm and citron, which symbolizes the unification of all Jews. The Rebbe shakes the lulav and esrog in every direction and then returns them to his heart, signifying his love for all Jews throughout all corners of the earth.
His mother, rebbetzin Chana, followed his father when he was arrested by the NKVD in Russia. He was the chief rabbi of Yekaterinoslav, and his mother voluntarily followed her husband into exile. It is well known that the Rebbe's father was an extraordinary scholar, both in the exoteric and esoteric texts. He was probably the top Kabbalist of his time. And he was a prolific writer as well as a prolific speaker. And the Rebbe's mother, rebbetzin Chana, would prepare ink for her husband's writings while in exile from herbs she would gather in the fields. And he wrote a number of texts and notations on the few texts that he had. And strangely enough, miraculously enough, I should say, those texts eventually found their way to the Rebbe.
The source of all Lamplighters is the book, because books are the tools of survival throughout history. In a special wing at 770 is the International Agudas Chabad Library, one of the most coveted Judaica libraries in the world, brought to freedom by the previous Rebbe from war-torn Europe. Under the Rebbe's tutelage, thousands of volumes of manuscripts have been published, opening a priceless treasure of scholarship accumulated by the previous 6 Rebbes, making it available to everyone. The Rebbe's extemporaneous commentaries on the Bible and Talmud, and on the works of great scholars, Maimonides and Rashi, his expounding on scholarly and Kabbalistic discourses at public gatherings are printed within hours and ready for distribution throughout the world. Chabad publishes books for everyone, And libraries, especially those for students of all ages, are situated in every Chabad community.
I use this library very often throughout my childhood. I started off with the children's library, reading the books there, and my class teacher, I remember in second grade, took us here, my whole class here, for a trip. We sat and read, and as I got older, I went, I'm not that old, I'm 15 years old, but as the years went on, I advanced to the more adult books. We have people coming in from all over to see the community, and also for research in this library and all different kinds of things. They all come here to observe and perhaps go on to lead such a life. And when they come to our homes and they see, our rituals and our customs and our traditions, they're very taken by it. And we serve our guests like royalty. We try to, because that's a very important aspect in our religion.
12 years ago, my husband and I started to become religious. And little by little, bit by bit, we became more and more observant. And we did a little here, we did a little there. We kept doing a little bit, and we met different people on the way that we learned with, that we learned more with. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we met some people from Chabad, and we started learning with the rabbis, with different rabbis and with different rebbetzins. And we really became more religious. We made the biggest leap then, in the last 3 or 4 years. And a lot of it has to do with the people we met and the things we learned and the things that it's done for us. It's made us very happy. It's given us a part of our lives we didn't have before.
The less committed Jew, I feel that he is less committed out of ignorance. We have the greatest Jewish scientists, artists, you name it, and they are absolutely ignorant as far as Aleph Beis is concerned. They don't know the Jewish alphabet. They can't read even Hebrew, even minimal things that we're teaching our kids in first grade. These highly intellectual Jews are absolutely ignorant of. How then can they not become assimilated? Obviously, there is only one road, one way of salvation for all of Judaism, and that is learn. Start learning.
The county courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. What's a nice Chabad rabbi doing in a place like this? Rabbi Yosef Schusterman is carrying a box full of kosher sandwiches for his weekly meeting with some of the country's finest legal minds.
The Torah remains with them forever. The Talmud tells a story. There was once a rabbi who didn't hear a certain law in his youth, and later on, when he got older, he heard it. And he said, it bothers me that I didn't hear it when I was a child. I mean, what difference does it make?
I come to Rabbi Schusterman's study groups every other week for the enjoyment of hearing his interpretation of the Jewish law, because in my profession, I'm not that well learned in the Jewish law.
I was interested in becoming involved in it. I learned that there are regular luncheons, and I want to learn more about my religion. I was never bar mitzvah when I was a boy. Now I'm active in my temple, but I still have a serious void that I want to fill. I think this is a good place to start.
This scene is repeated hundreds of times a day in countries throughout the world as Chabad teaches doctors, lawyers, and businessmen in all walks of life.
Israeli terrorists were dealt with in extra...
Our Yiddishkeit and our education has become more intense than it was before. My daughter's education, Yuri's education, was much more Hasidic than mine was. Well, with humor and with lightness and with music and with Hasidic feeling, we pass this on to the next generation, and Yuri passes it on to her next generation.
The day starts so differently here for the kids because the first thing in the morning is the Modani, and again, and also at night is the going to sleep, so the Shema, and the kids all know that. And the little baby even already knows in the crib. He sticks his hands out in the morning and he waits for the water to come pouring on it. He doesn't say the Modani exactly, but he will soon, I'm sure.
The burning desire and spiritual exuberance of the Lubavitcher Rebbe has captured the imagination of millions of Jews. At one time, the spark within their souls might have been an isolated, slow-burning, and almost diminished ember. But now, thanks to the worldwide leadership and outreach of the Rebbe's fervent love for Yiddishkeit, the ember has grown with great intensity.
we started to become observant, we started when we were already older. We weren't, 20 years old. We were already older. We were established. We had traveled. We had gotten a lot of material things, thank God, and it didn't cut it. It wasn't it yet. And when we started on this road, like everything we did made it better and made us closer and brought our family closer together. We don't argue about the same things anymore. It's like a different level of arguing. It's truly affected every part of our lives. I want my daughters to be married and to have children. I'm a grandmother now, thank God. I have a 5-year-old grandson who's gorgeous, and I want more of them. And I want my daughters to find nice Jewish husbands and get married and be happy. And I can't determine how religious my children will be when they're adults, but I would hope that from the example they see from Andy and I, that they'll want that in their lives and they'll keep that in their lives.
When I do have lots of children, God willing, there's no doubt in my mind, and I hope not in whoever I marry's mind, that my children will be yet again raised with Chabad definitely around us, because I know that it's such a joy and it can be in anybody's life.
The Hasidic wedding is the continuation and growth of the spark. What these two young people have experienced in their own lives, the warmth and dedication to family life and tradition, they can now share and carry on with their own family.
I went to a Lubavitch wedding. I never saw anything like it in my life. I didn't stop smiling for 3 weeks. The joy and the dancing and the love, I never saw anything like it. I have not met people like this ever in my life. That's the truth. I have not met, not that people don't have their problems. Everybody has their problems, but even just in my family, the love that's in my family, the joy of Friday night dinner together, or the families I've been to, I have never seen anything like it in my life. It's truly been a gift to us.
You wait for that day to come, because if you're wired the whole week long, and, again, I'll relate it to myself, you're like during finals, say, you have all these tests and you're just doing everything and you're going crazy and you're studying, you have so much work to do, and then, and then it's Shabbos, and it's really a time to relax and just mellow out and just, be cool with yourself and be cool with your family and be cool with your friends and all that stuff. So it's really a nice thing, this religion stuff.
Yep.
It's a nice thing.
It is a nice thing, and its beauty never lets up because that initial spark is kindled and nurtured within the hearts of every Chabad youngster under the guidance and deep love of the Rebbe.
Everybody, breath, let's go!
Given Chabad's continuing effort to educate, as the Passover holiday draws near, children from all backgrounds are treated to a miniature operation of a traditional matzah bakery at Chabad centers throughout the country. They are given a lesson in history about their biblical ancestors who made a hasty departure from Egypt without giving their bread enough time to rise. When the children and their families leave the premises of the model bakery, They are given the special round shmura matzahs baked in Crown Heights for use at their seders. The water in a specially supervised flour must be kept from becoming moist and are kept in separate rooms and then mixed in a bowl, and in rapid succession they are hand kneaded. Flattened by carefully sanded and inspected rolling pins, they are then perforated and taken to the oven. And they are baked all within the span of 18 minutes as required by Jewish law. This is the fire of Passover redemption. And this, tragically, was the fire of death and destruction of Chabad's West Coast headquarters, which claimed the lives of 3 young men. Chabad, which had given to the community for so many years, was now the beneficiary of thousands of people and Hollywood stars who were given the opportunity to at last repay this giving institution. Out of this tragedy, the first annual Jewish telethon was born. The Rebbe's desire to bring morality and ethics to the world via the 7 no-eyed laws prompted actor Jon Voight to share his feelings with millions of TV viewers.
Living a life of justice in recognition of one supreme being, living a life of morality where there is no murder, robbery, or cruelty to all God's creatures, represent a message for all mankind. And if all men would understand the beauty of that message, we would all be in a harmonious tune, and all dances relating to all different cultures would be easy for all of us to dance to.
And
Someday we will all be together, a fulfillment of the biblical prophecy. But now, a mourner's minion respectfully accompanies their sainted Rebbe's prayers as together they pay respects to rebbetzin Chaya Musia Schneerson, the Rebbe's wife who passed away at the age of 87 after 60 years of marriage.
Despite the fact that she came from an aristocratic lineage, not only was she the Rebbe's wife, she was the daughter of the previous Rebbe and the granddaughter of his predecessor. Her grandmother and grandfather from both sides were of Schneerson lineage. At the same time, though, she was an extremely modest woman, very humble, always concerned with the person, with the well-being of the person, with the well-being of the family, the children, the grandchildren.
Chabad throughout the world has been dedicating centers and programs in blessed memory of the Rebbe's wife. The Hasidic philosophy is not to retreat or step back in face of tragedy, but rather to be spurred on to greater heights and activity.
What to say, what to do. Remember that there's an expression, a Hebrew expression, I'm not a Chuchem, Rabbi, but I'm very lucky to be here and be part of this groundbreaking.
Mr. David Chase, chairman of the Chabad Lubavitch National Development Funds, participates with the Rebbe in the laying of the cornerstone of the new Chabad International World Headquarters at 770 Eastern Parkway. In Israel, which has had more than its share of despair and mourning, Shifra Galambovic, a woman at Kva Chabad, responding to a personal and national tragedy, initiated the bar mitzvah for orphans after her husband, who had come home on leave to attend their child's bris, went back to the front and was killed by an Arab bullet.
התרגשתי בפעם הראשונה שאני חגגתי את בר המצווה. התרגשתי פעם שנייה שאני חגגתי את בר המצווה של בני. והיום אני נרגש שבעתיים להיות בחברתכם במעמד זה כנציג הרמטכ"ל. לחיים ולברוכו.
Every summer, hundreds of widows and their children gather together and celebrate this bar mitzvah. The Torah, the torch of Yiddishkeit, sheds light where darkness once prevailed. Thanks to those who share the conviction and dedication of lighting the lamps, there is more of an awareness of God's glory and the joy and essence of Judaism than ever before.
My parents are Russian-born. They married over 60 years ago in Israel, came to America. We were born in America. My husband is also Russian-born. He came out of Russia after the Second World War. We met, married, went to Italy. When our oldest son had his bar mitzvah, my baby son, my seventh, was only a month old. When we had our celebration, Friday night after the meal, my father got up. My father, my husband, my son, one in Russia, born in Russia, one went through Israel, one was from America, the baby, Italian. They were all dancing together, all speaking the same language, all walking the same path, all wishing for the same thing, one direction. There was no generation gap, not only between the father, the grandfather, and the father, not even between the grandfather and the grandson. How many people can say that? How many people can wish for that? How many people can understand the glory in that? And that's what Yiddishkeit is really about.
this treasure has made some changes in his life. A brand new family, his children and his wife. They learn new things each day to live the Torah way. The message of the Shabbat they'll relay. Now every Friday night they go down to the wall, invite some people home, and they will tell them all. We'll teach you this new song to join us. Sing